Hello, everyone. Welcome back. This is Sarah Smith, and you're listening to Raw Intentions. Coming at you live from Denver, we've got an incredibly special guest today, as we always do, isn't every guest incredibly special? But before we get into this week's episode, I will take a little beat and give y'all my elevator pitch because I'm obsessed with myself. And that's why I have a podcast, so I can talk about myself. But just in case this is your first time and you don't know who I am, like I said in the intro, my name is Sarah Smith, Sarah with an H, Smith with AY. I'm from Madison, Alabama, currently living in Breckenridge, Colorado, 30 years old, graduated from Auburn University with a double major in Spanish and rehab disability studies, had full plans to go to Spain, be a bartender, gain fluency, become a bilingual occupational therapist. Of course, nothing ever goes to plan. Instead, I was incredibly broke because my dad wouldn't give me his fucking credit card like all my other sorority sisters had. What the heck, Dad? And started making jewelry on the side of my waitressing gig at Texas Roadhouse, which wasn't really paying my non-existent bills. So started making jewelry for myself, for my friends, and what started as a little hustle out of my college bedroom blossomed and snowballed into a whole brand business baby, all of the things. And it's still my full-time job to this day. It's called Raw and Rebellious. It's at raw_rebellious on Instagram. If you don't follow us, definitely give us a follow. And we started with handmade necklaces, bracelets, rings, earrings, and now we don't do jewelry at all anymore. We do apparel, hats, custom merch, prints, shoes, little trinkets, literally anything that comes to mind, any intrusive that I have. I'm like, how can I monetize off of this? We host meetups, pop-ups, retreats, international retreats. I do influencing, content creation, YouTube, and this podcast. So I get my hands in all sorts of things. And probably my favorite part of having this brand, Raw and Rebellious, is the community. We've grown it very sustainably and slowly over the last 8-9 years. And it's so cool. And the reason that we still have this living, breathing thing, and the reason that it's still my full-time job is because of y'all. And that's why I wanted to start this podcast. Raw Intentions was to have a lifeline to the people that I chat with via DMs every single day and feel like are my friends anyway. A way to communicate with y'all, relate to you guys, tell stories, hear myself talk, obviously, but most importantly, have really incredible guests on, people that I admire from afar, people that I call my friends, and give them a platform and a space to tell their story. So that brings us to our guest this week. This week, we have Jill Coates on the podcast. She is a local director. She is the owner and founder of the production company 140 Films. You've probably seen her on social somewhere, maybe a viral video or two that has come across your feed. But Jill and I have a million mutual friends, as it happens, out here in Colorado. And this conversation was so incredible. I knew I was getting into it with a fellow podcaster, but half the time I felt like she was interviewing me because she actually asked me questions, which I was wildly unprepared for. She really flipped the script. But this chat with Jill is so amazing. She's so insightful. She is such an artist and a creative to her core. And hearing her talk about her passions and her why behind videography, behind production, and explaining the differences between all of these different things as someone that knows absolutely nothing about this world, and the magic in directing and seeing an idea come to life, the community that she's found in Denver and among the other filmmakers and people in this industry, and how she's gotten to where she is. She's so impressive, so inspirational, and y'all are going to absolutely love this episode and getting to know Jill. But I will let her tell her story and I'll shut up. Without further ado, let's welcome Jill Coates to Raw Intentions podcast. Well, before we get into the episode, I would love for you to introduce yourself.
Okay.
To our listeners,
Cool.
Just tell the audience a little bit about you.
I'm Jill Coates. I'm a director in Denver. I have my own podcast called Work Wives Unscripted, where we just talk about business and work and unhinged stories. And I'm super excited to be on your podcast.
Yeah, I know, same. It's also so nice having like a fellow podcaster on because it just flows.
It does.
So well. Y'all do guests, don't you, on your podcast?
Yeah, every now and then, yeah.
Have you ever had like a bad guest or someone that you're like, as you're recording, you're like, huh.
You're like, you're not hard to talk.
Because I
wouldn't say bad guests, but I would say we've had guests that are like too polished almost.
Oh,
where like every answer they're like, yeah. And you're like, you can be like, real.
Yeah, and you're like, you can just be yourself.
Yeah,
you don't have to like have your corporate work voice on.
Yeah. You've had a bad one?
Yeah, again, I think bad is not the right way to put it, but like just like tough, like a really tough conversation where, and you can probably tell, like, I feel like podcasting, I learn a lot about other people and like reading them, and also about like other people's cadences. Like you learn really quickly. And I'm sure with your co-host, you're so used to like filling in for each other and like finishing each other's sentences or like naturally like conversation flowing. But like you try to figure out quickly, like, okay, are they gonna like ramble, or are they gonna like answer more than just the question, or is it gonna be more of a conversation or just like an interview?
Yes.
And I've had a few where like pretty much right off the bat, I'm like, damn, like this is going to be a tough hour.
You're like, I'm going to have to really
just carry the team.
Thing. Yeah. Yeah,
which is fine, but it's funny because it's always with like the unexpected people, the people that are like pretty outgoing, or like that you think will be like super talkative or whatever. But when you get the mic in front of you, it can be really scary sometimes.
Yes, for sure.
Which
and then like even prepping questions too. I never know if I should do that because it's like I rarely ever stick to it. I'm always just like go off the first thing that we start talking about.
Exactly.
And then they're like freaked out that I didn't go over the questions, and it's just like
well, that's why I always send questions, and I like to like, I don't want to go into this podcast being like, okay, so what's your name?
Yeah.
And like tell me something about you and like know nothing. And a lot of the time people are nervous. So I like to send the questions for like their sake.
Yeah.
So they know that I'm not just going into it blind, and I can kind of like carry it. But from the moment I email that to you, I haven't looked at it since.
Yeah.
Because I wouldn't want to like have a pre-scripted thing in mind where like you're talking about something really interesting, and I'm like, okay, I gotta ask for the next question. Exactly.
Yes. Yeah.
Because it should be more of a conversation.
Oh, yeah.
And
that's always how I am too. I never go off the actual questions.
I don't either.
It's just too hard, you know?
It is.
I don't know.
But podcasting is fun. It's been a cool way to like meet people.
Yeah, for
and
sure.
Grow, I feel like my own, I hate using the word like network, but like circle of friends, I guess, like locally and just like in general, because it's a cool way to bridge a conversation with someone you don't know.
It's so cool.
Yeah.
It's the best. I love that they're becoming way more popular now too. Like I was reading this article about how CEOs even of big companies are going to be like expected to go on podcasts and stuff.
Cool.
Because
like it's a part of their...
Yeah, it's just like a part of... Everyone is like... needs to have some kind of personal brand now, which is like kind of annoying in some aspects, but I think cool in other aspects that people just want to know real people instead of just, I don't know, maybe a brand or maybe just a company.
Like a
it's
faceless.
like
annoying in what way?
I think sometimes
like
it can be
overdone?
annoying that it feels like you have to have an online presence in your job anymore. Like even in like as a director or someone in film, it's like now like meeting older directors in Denver, they're like, what is BTS? Like they don't even know any social media stuff, and they're just like whatever, and they don't have to do that. Whereas now it feels like you almost have to have some kind of audience to be like taken seriously as someone that can, I don't know, like it's like a little bit more pressure, I would say.
Yeah, interesting. No, and I feel like a lot of creatives struggle with that. Like a lot of my friends locally that are artists because, or like a musician, that's not very natural for them to like share themselves. Like they like their art to kind of speak for themselves, and they don't want to get on their story and be like, hey guys, this is why I wrote this song, you know?
Yes.
But you do kind of have to do that. And that's, I'm sure for you too, like how you've grown your business and gotten a ton of businesses through Instagram or TikTok or something going viral. And for better or for worse, it becomes like a huge part of our jobs.
For sure. It's really hard to just get out of your head and not think about, I think, your peers in your industry when I talk to people that aren't in film that I'm like, and they're asking questions and I'm like, oh, like I could easily share some more of this on Instagram, but I just I'm so used to my peers and being like, oh, they're gonna be like, what are you doing? This is dumb. Like, I don't know. So I think it's...
Do you mean like in people judging you, or do you mean like you sharing information that feels like obvious?
Yeah, like both. Okay. Both of those. Like, I think even just when people are like, here's a day in the life as a woman in film. Like, I feel like the people in film would be like, what are you, like, this is weird. And also, why did you use that light? And why are you blah, blah, blah. You know what I mean? But then like when I think about people that aren't in film, I'm like, that would be really interesting. Yeah, I would want to know.
Totally.
Like I would be curious to see what that would be like, you know? So
that's what I would say. I was just talking to a local hat maker before this, and I was telling her, because she was saying like the funny things that customers will ask for. And I was like, I used to get really mad when I was at a pop-up or something and someone would ask me for something like absurd. They're like, could you make this sweatshirt on like a hot pink one real quick? Like, do you have that? Or like, could you do that really quick? And I'm like, do you not understand anything about anything? Like, I'd be like, fuck you. But then what I realized was this is actually kind of cool because I have this like special knowledge. Like the fact that they think that I can just print this is awesome because I can't do that. But that means that what I do is like the specialized thing, and like someone can't like take what I'm doing and run away with it, I guess.
Yeah.
Because when I started doing jewelry, I used to deal with that a lot with like people copying me and like copying my designs, and that used to really bother me. So I got a little like scared for a while of like, I can't post things because then someone else will copy me or do something that I'm doing. But then you find like beauty in it almost of like, same with you sharing a day in the life. Like I would love to know what a day in the life looks like because I have no clue and I'm not in that realm. And like anything that you explain or that you show to me is like brand new knowledge.
Yeah, totally. And
you
it
know?
like helps with brands that you work with too, just educating them on this is what that process actually looks like. This is why it costs so much money. Like this is like what the things I'm thinking about are the things that I don't know. I think it would be super beneficial for a lot of different things, but I don't know. You're probably much better at actually posting on Instagram than I am.
I don't know. I think with my business I am, but I've started doing influencing on my personal account in the last like less than a year. And it's funny because I've gotten so like numb on Raw and Rebellious. Like I posted on that, like it's been my personal account for a long time. Yeah. But I've always had my personal Instagram. And now I'm having to deal with like, oh God, what if like this guy that I dated in 8th grade sees this and like, what is he going to think, you know, because I'm so used to posting on the other account, like a Finsta almost.
Totally.
So it's been a good exercise for me though, of like bringing me back to earth of like, I'm like, oh, I don't care what anyone thinks. I'm like, yes, I do.
Yeah.
Only in these certain instances do I not, because I've like worked this muscle so many times. So I think it is about like, as cliche as it is, if you have an idea to post something and you feel yourself pause and you like observe that of like, oh, like, I don't know if I want to do that. What if so-and-so judges that? Or like, what if they think X, Y, and Z? And then posting it anyway. I think that's such a good exercise of kind of like working past that and like not caring what people think.
Yeah.
Because it is such a practice, like with anything, you know?
Yeah, that's so true.
Just
that's
like working that muscle.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is such a muscle. And it's like, I think it's so hard and you can probably relate to this too as a creative when you're sharing your art too, because you're like, I want to make art out of an internal place. Like I don't want to do it for external validation. And it's hard not to. I think I'm so like proud of my younger self because I used to just post everything I did all the time. Like my work wise, not like my life, but just work. I would post it all the time and be like, I was so proud of it. I didn't give a fuck what anyone thought. And like the older I get, the less of my work I post because I'm like, well, it's just got to be like the best work that I post and only the good stuff and only the cool stuff because I'm like, I don't want like people to, I don't want to feel like it's not good enough and then start thinking about like, what would people like? What would people want to see?
And then having it like shape your creative mind almost or like seep in when you're creating.
Yeah.
No, that is the struggle. And like with short form, like and like hooks and like making things to like trending audios or like a trend, that like is not fun for me. Like social media can be fun. And I think I've fallen in love with it doing it through my personal account because I'm like finding what I want that like personal brand to be because Raw and Rebellious is something of its own. But I don't enjoy that like kitschy, like ChatGPT, what are 5 hooks that I could like, I'm like, that is not fun. And that shouldn't be what it is, but it's like what we're supposed to do. And it just doesn't make any sense.
I know, it's sad. I like that part is so hard. But I would like to think that if you can just be authentic, that will come through, you know?
Yeah.
I don't know.
No, but I think like, if you're not, I think if you try to like carbon copy or just like follow trends, you're not going to be sustainable. Even if you have a video go viral, like you have to have something backing that.
So true.
And like coming back to like personal branding and like that being important. I love that because I think the companies that do have a really strong founder or like a really important why that you may not know, it'll shine through and like beat out the ones that are like fake or just like Sheins of the world. Yeah. Kind of thing.
Yeah.
So I think in that way it's good because it kind of like sniffs people out. But like back to podcasting too, that was one of the reasons I love or one of the reasons I do love podcasting is because it's not an algorithm. It's just like a form of long form content that feels very authentic and it just is the most like raw and authentic that I am ever. Like more so than I would be on socials, like on other socials. And it just feels like mine. Like it doesn't feel like something that's controlled by like an algorithm or anything.
I felt like when we started our podcast, I kept being like, this is the most freeing thing in the entire world because I'm genuinely being myself. So if you listen, you must like me because like I'm not like there's nothing fake about this. Like we would talk about just like the most raw stuff and it's such a freeing experience to be like completely yourself and then have people keep listening and be like, wow, you guys like me, like cool.
Well, and like the moment of validation of like you and your friends sitting in the car like having these conversations and being like, we're really funny and cool. We should start a podcast. And then there's other people that also think you're funny and cool because they're listening to the podcast.
Totally.
So there's that moment of like,
yeah.
I knew we weren't wrong.
Do you ever like say stuff though and you're like, I cannot believe I said that
all the time
on the internet?
Yeah. All the time.
Wild.
And weirdly, like my podcast is a place where like I wouldn't delete it. Like I'll leave that there, but like I wouldn't say that on Instagram or anything.
Oh God, no. Yeah.
Like fuck no.
Yeah. That's what I love about long form though, is that you get the context of it.
Yes.
And that's why you can't say stuff like that on Instagram, because like when I'm telling this insane story about like I told this story about like getting a nosebleed on a guy's face one time, and I'm like, you can't just like say that on Instagram, but it makes sense in the form of the podcast.
Yes,
I don't know. You know,
no, I could not agree more. And my parents are like my mom has socials and she's like follows all my stuff, and that's really the only opinion I care about. And she's very lax at this point. Like I get away with a lot on all my social media. But we've also gotten in a lot of fights over it. But my podcast, I told them at the beginning, I was like, you guys cannot listen to this.
Oh, really?
Unless I tell you that you can listen to this specific episode. And I was like, you can. If you want to go behind my back, do that. But like, if I'm talking about blowjobs or something, then you're not going to be happy when you hear that. So I'm just trying to warn you.
That's smart.
You know, and they've respected it. And so I feel like that also gives me the freedom. And my grandparents haven't figured out how to listen to podcasts.
Good, yes.
Which is nice. Yeah. Unfortunately, they do only follow Braun Rebellious and my personal account and my brother on Instagram. So like can't block them because they see everything. Yeah. But other than that,
so funny.
Feeling very free.
Oh yeah.
On here for sure.
Yeah. No, my husband's like parents were like, we're gonna listen. And I was like, oh God.
Please
like,
don't.
You guys, I'm so sorry. It's who I am. The funniest one was we had our accountant on and we were like, this would be like really helpful for small business owners. We talk about business a lot. And he's like 48 and just like very clean cut corporate guy. And we were like, explain to us like how an S Corp works or an LLC. And just, it was so helpful. But then after he was like, what's like, send me some of your old episodes. Like, I want to listen. And I was like, don't listen. Like,
you're like, which one?
You're not going to want to be on this podcast. Yeah. Once you listen.
You're not going to want to be associated with us.
So we just like put it on YouTube and sent him the YouTube link to his. And I was just like, whatever. If he finds it, it's fine. But he's going to be like so freaked out.
So funny. Well, that's why I'm always careful too to like on Instagram, it'll give you the option, or at least for me, to post on Facebook all the time. And I'm so careful about that because I'm like, I don't want anyone on Facebook getting to even know that I have a podcast. That needs to just be our little secret.
Not the target market.
No, not at all. That is the last person that I want to bring into this podcasting
like
circle.
Aunts, like your like long lost aunt from Tennessee.
Even like, just like my first aunt. I'm like, I don't really want you to see this either. Like I'm kind of good on that.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
So, and you had your podcast for like 2.5 years, you said. So what do you feel like you learned? Like, I mean, you had guests on, you and your friend. Did it just the two of you?
I don't know. I think like truly just, it was really fun being able, like we started it thinking we were going to talk about business a lot, and we did. We totally did. But I think it was just really fun to bring in real life to business conversations, because I think there's so many podcasts that are very like self-helpy when it comes to business.
Yeah.
And then there's self-help podcasts, but it didn't feel like there was ever a bridge between we are driven women that want to make a lot of money and want to dominate in our industries. And we're also going to talk about like stupid, embarrassing shit that we do and like dumb stuff, and just kind of bridging the gap between like we're human and we also are ambitious women. And you can be both. And I don't know. I think that was so fun. And our listeners just like also really loved that, which was cool. Because I'm sure there's podcasts out there now that are more like business focused, but unhinged at the same time. But we didn't know of any at the time.
Yeah.
Which was fun.
Well, and I think that's so important. I mean, that makes it more relatable.
Yeah.
Like bringing all of the hilarious and the weird and like the crazy times and like the insane mistakes that you've made, or like weird interactions or conversations you've had in work and in normal life.
Yeah, for sure.
And bridging that all together. I mean, that's kind of why I've never wanted to niche this podcast down, like whenever people ask me what it's about, because I've got people from all over the spectrum that come on, and then I do solo episodes about like anything, and I don't really want to like niche it down because I think it's more fun hitting lots of different like niches and targets and jobs and kinds of people doing different things so that everyone can kind of feel like they relate.
Yeah, that's very smart.
Which I enjoy.
Yeah. That's very smart.
But I mean, probably once a quarter, I think about quitting. So we'll
Oh,
see.
yeah.
Of course.
That's normal. That's normal.
But that's like anything in my life.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
maybe this month I'll quit my podcast. Maybe this month I'll quit my like full-time job.
Mm-hmm.
Broader values. I know.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
I know. And also, like, I'm sure you're like me where you just come up with also 100 new ideas every
Dude,
week.
it's like, it's so bad. I
Me
went through
too.
this phase where I wanted to open like an analog photo booth.
Mm-hmm.
And I really wanted to do it in Aspen.
Mm.
I don't know why.
Okay.
Like by Kimosabi.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't even get that far to like place it because I was trying to like buy one online, and then I got my boyfriend and my brother involved because they're both engineers, and I was like, can you guys like build this for me? Like I don't really know anything about it, but like I really want to make it happen. I mean, and that's like once a month. I have like a different idea.
I love that. That's so fun though. It's so fun to be in a world where you can do that and be like, I don't know, I'm just gonna try this thing and see what happens, and that's cool.
It's super like playful, which
Yeah.
I enjoy. And I love the ability to like, even if I don't do anything with it, I love taking inspiration, at least just like taking it in and like kind of thinking about it.
Yeah.
And being like, what if I did this thing?
Totally.
Because that's the fun thing about entrepreneurship is, and sometimes I forget it and I put myself in a box and then I'm like, wait, I literally can wake up any day and do anything I want.
Yeah.
You know, which is so cool.
That's like, it's so crazy how rare that mindset can be.
Yeah.
And it blows my mind because in my mind, I'm very much like, you just make a decision and then you just figure it out. Like that's all it is.
Right.
It's not, am I smart enough for this? Am I like, can I do this? Am I creative enough? Am I this enough? It's literally just like, you just kind of make the decision and then you just figure it out. That's all it is. Like, I think so many people are just too scared to start things or too afraid of the unknown, but no one knows what they're actually doing, you know?
Yeah. And I kind of like the unknown too.
Oh, me too.
It's exciting.
I thrive in chaos. So maybe that's why I like it. But.
No, and, which I think is like pretty synonymous with those business owners is like we kind of sickly like that for some reason.
Did you ever listen to How I Built This?
Yes.
That podcast?
I love
That's
How I
when
Built
I was
This.
like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Like,
you're
these
starting to
people
see
are
some like
crazy.
congruencies.
Yeah,
And you're like,
like,
wait, I'm kind of fucking crazy.
Yeah, I was like, oh, that makes me feel so much better. Because in my mind, I always thought of like successful business owners as type A people that were just like really good at school and like really good. And then when I listened to that podcast, I realized like every single one of them is like dropped out of college. I like maxed out all my credit cards. I did this. I sold my
went
car.
to prison.
I was like, and you're just like, what?
Yeah.
And then they're like, and then I finally made it happen. You're like, okay, I can do that. Like,
well,
that's fun.
and it's cool because a lot of those happened when they were like 40 or 45.
Yeah,
like
for
that
sure.
makes me think that because no matter what, I know I'm always going to be doing my own thing, and I always want to like create whatever my job is, and I hope to always have raw and rebellious, but like if it naturally grows into something else down the line, then like that's okay too.
Totally.
So I always want to be like open to that changing if it makes more sense later on.
For sure.
You know?
Yeah. Are your parents entrepreneurs?
No.
No?
Are yours?
My dad had his own business for like 10 years and then both my sisters have their own businesses.
No way.
Yeah. So it does like kind of run in the family, but.
See, that I'm envious of. In a way, because for me, it was so random because I was going to school for bilingual occupational therapy.
Okay.
So Spanish and rehab disability studies were my two majors.
Yeah.
And I just like randomly started making jewelry in college because I was so broke. And that kind of just like took off on its own. So I didn't really have a choice but to pursue it. But I also am appreciative because my parents know nothing about this world. And my dad's an engineer. My mom's an occupational therapist. And without their support, I would not have my business at all.
Yeah.
You know? So like, even though it was not normalized for me at all. And at the time that we were in college, like, did you have like entrepreneur classes? Like we didn't have that.
No, I remember we had like some kind of entrepreneur event where it was like a workshop or something.
Yeah.
For like potential entrepreneurs. And it's crazy thinking that I went to that.
Oh, you did?
Yeah. And I remember being like so stoked on it, but that was like the only thing.
But it was probably because it was like something that you have even heard of. Like that was something that was passed around in your family. And are your sisters older or younger?
Older.
So were they doing that at the time?
Yeah.
I mean, that's
helpful.
so cool.
Yes.
And I talk to people all the time that have parents that are both entrepreneurs, like growing up in a family like that. And I'm kind of excited to have kids and like almost normalize that for my kids of like, this is something that you can do if you want. You don't, like, I didn't even learn anything in college that I'm using now. I just got the social experience and like gained kind of the friends to get where I am now, you know, and like learned life things and got a lot of partying out of my system, but that I'm still unfortunately getting out of my system, I think. But that's such a cool mindset of like you going to an entrepreneurial event when you were younger.
Yeah. I'd wonder where that came from, but maybe it is from seeing my sisters, which is so helpful because my oldest sister is 10 years older.
Oh, cool.
And so still to this day, it's super helpful because she's always ahead of me in being a business owner, and I can kind of see what path she took and like if I want to take that kind of path or not. And that's been super helpful. But I'm so impressed that you didn't have that and still did it. Like, I don't know if I would have without examples.
Yeah.
You know?
But I think it's still that same personality, you know? Like there are such like commonalities between so many entrepreneurs. And I think I like had it in me. My grandfather who passed away that I was named after was an entrepreneur.
Okay.
Which is really cool. So I think I like kind of got it from him. And my mom always says that I remind her of him.
Okay.
Which is cool. So I think a little bit of that and a little bit of just like ignorance. Like I think if I had known, I wouldn't have done it.
Yeah.
No
absolutely.
way.
No
way. I had no idea.
Yeah, you have to be ignorant. Absolutely.
Yes.
Still have to be ignorant.
Oh, I still am. I'm still just kind of like learning every single day as I go.
Some of the stuff I do, I'm like, I can't believe I'm doing this.
Yes,
like,
totally.
Do you ever just have that moment?
Always.
Where you're like, what the hell?
I know. Right now.
Yeah.
I'm like, what the hell? What is this thing?
What?
How did this get here? I don't know.
So funny.
Wait, what do your sisters do?
My oldest sister, Jenna, she has a marketing agency.
Oh, cool. Are they
she's
all in
such
Colorado?
a badass. She's actually in Montana.
Oh,
in Billings,
nice. Okay.
which is like,
I've been
so
to
sorry,
Billings.
Jenna, but not the cutest, but it's okay.
Sorry.
But no, she's like such a badass. She has like 7 employees now.
Wow.
It's just like full agency, which has been really helpful for me to be like, I don't want to be an agency.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for showing me that. She's perfect for it.
Totally.
She has that personality to just like be a very good leader and manage people and scale and that kind of thing. Whereas I'm like, oh, I like less people is better. But and then my other sister was also in marketing. She worked for Arm & Hammer and then basically just became like a contractor for them. So she like doesn't have a ton of clients. She mostly just contracts for Arm & Hammer.
Okay.
But just also such a badass. Yeah.
And I like what you said too about the not wanting to be an agency thing. I think sometimes we get caught up with what we think our goals are supposed to be. And you're like, okay, well, I should scale.
Oh, yeah.
Because I've been doing this for a while. Like I should have a bunch of employees. And you even said earlier, you've had like times where you've had like 4 or 5 editors. And I've had times where I've had like 9, 10 employees and it just gets to be like a mess.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm like, I don't want that.
Yeah. It was so, for the longest time, like when Katie and I got our studio in Denver, I was like, I'm going to have 5 employees. Like, I'm going to grow this thing. I'm going to be a millionaire. Like, I was like so set on like, I'm going to have an agency and I'm going to be rich and I'm going to like be working with all these big brands. And then like when I actually started doing it, it was like, I hate this. Like, I don't like any of this. Like, it's not fun anymore. I'm not even doing the craft anymore. I'm literally just managing people and budgets and projects. And like, some people love that. And there is an element also to working yourself out of your business that I admire. Like if you can hire people and not have to be like working in your business and like a slave to your business. Yeah. That's cool. Like I admire that. I just can't do it. Like it makes me sad. I don't like it anymore. So it was like a hard pill for me to swallow to be like, okay, I'm not going to just scale this thing. Like I think I'm just going to stay as an artist. And that was hard to accept, but I feel good about it now.
How did you come to that realization? Because I found in times, and maybe you've been through this too, where like my head is so far at my own ass that I can't even see and like look around and realize like, I don't want this, or like, maybe this isn't my idea of success. Like it sometimes takes a lot longer to like catch up with yourself. Yeah. How did you figure that out? I still battle with, like, I have a very rivaling sides to me where like one side of me is like, I want to be a goddamn shark and like own this shit. And like the other side of me is like, I want to be a crazy art lady that like lives in the mountains and just like writes sad films, you know? Like it's like, it's always dueling. But I think when I finally was just like, okay, I'm not going to scale a huge production company. I was just like seeing my sister's life who has scaled a whole production company and just what her day-to-day looks like. I was like, okay, if I built that for myself, again, she loves it and she's great at it, but I knew if I built that for myself, I would just not be happy. Yeah. And that like day to day doesn't sound fulfilling or fun to me anymore. I still absolutely want to. The only desirable part about scaling to me is like if I can just make money and separate that from my art. Okay.
That's what I like the idea of. Like, I want to build something up where maybe it's like I
more
can
passive.
Yeah. Or like I can just like hire crew and like still have like a contract editor or something like that. And then like that is my moneymaker, which is what I do. Like I do a lot of boring ass corporate work that no one ever sees on my Instagram.
Yeah.
So that I can keep it separate from my art so that my art can just stay like real and genuine and I don't know, me, if that makes sense.
Yeah. I mean, and there is a very real like push and pull of being an artist and wanting to monetize what you love.
Yes.
But also that taking away from the art.
Mm-hmm.
And I was talking to a local artist last week actually, and I asked her, because for a lot of people, they want to take that art like as their full time, like maybe they have it part time. And she has a full-time job working for the library in like their art section. And she was like, honestly, I don't ever want to take my art full time. She was like, I think that's the reason why I don't get burned out. I think that's the reason that I love it. I think that's the reason that I create until I don't like it anymore. And then I switch and I don't care if people buy it or not. I just make it for me and then it works.
Yes.
Because I don't have that pressure. And that is so hard to do as an artist.
Oh, it's so hard. It's so hard when your art has to work.
Yeah.
You know, like it just ruins it. It like ruins the authenticity of it. And just, I don't know. And then it's weird how much you end up making something that people want to buy when it is genuine and not for money.
Yeah.
But that's where I'm so into the idea of doing boring corporate work to pay bills. And like, I encourage everyone to do whatever that looks like in whatever industry of just like, it is okay if your day-to-day job maybe isn't your passion or something that you're stoked on. Like, that's okay too. Like, I think it's hard. Like on Instagram, it's just hard because you feel like everyone's just like living their dream all the time and doing the coolest shit all the time. And I'm always trying to show like when I'm on a boring shoot, like, by the way, like I do this boring shit all the time.
Yeah.
And like,
this is like more common.
Yeah. Like this is 80% of like what I actually do, you know? Cause I think there's something just like really cool about being able to make your own art and keep it true, you know?
Well, and I think that rings true too for anyone. Because right now, entrepreneurship is just so glamorized. Everyone feels like they have to like do their own thing. And it makes you feel bad about having a corporate job or about having something that you're not like changing the world or that you're so passionate about. And I always tell my friends, like, as long as you don't hate your life every day and you are doing something that makes you good money that you are good at, as long as you have hobbies. Some people don't have hobbies. And then I'm like, well, there's a problem. Like, let's get outside and figure out, or inside, wherever it is, and figure out what makes you happy outside of like watching Netflix and doom scrolling. Like, we got to figure something else out. But as long as that can fund what you enjoy, I think that that's kind of even better. Because it's not stressful. You clock in, you clock out, and then you have things that you love to do outside of work. Like, how cool is that?
Yes, I totally agree. I think like whether it's work or just your hobbies or whatever, you have to figure out how to enjoy like 60% of your life. Like, I think 40% is fine. You can just like grind away or do what you need to do. But like, if you're not enjoying like 60% of your life at least, it's not worth anything. Like
then
none
what?
of that is worth it. Yeah,
totally.
You know, and like, I don't know, a lot of corporate jobs are a lot of your time. So I think you have to like it to some degree, but well,
that's the thing too. Like, I had so many friends right out of college that like hated it so much, like Sunday scaries, like them just like getting so much anxiety before Monday. I'm like, that's not normal.
Yeah. That used to be me too. And it was weird too, because I had such an easy job that I was like, why? Like, I should be so happy right now. Like, I just like online shop for 2 hours a day.
Yeah,
lunch.
totally.
Like, I don't know.
Move your mouse around and you're like, this is
I'm like, why am I not like stoked on this? Like, I don't know. So I think it's nice being like, I like having something that makes me just like try every day and apply myself and have skin in the game and care. But I don't miss that life.
Wait, so did you have a corporate job? And you went to Boulder?
CSU.
Oh, CSU. Okay. And then you had a corporate job after school? What did you say you studied again?
Communications.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah, with a minor in information science and technology, which I like. So funny. It's
interesting.
Like, it's because that was the only like minor that had any kind of video classes. They don't have a film school.
Oh.
And I didn't realize it was basically like an IT minor. It was so hard. It was like the worst.
Wait, so you always knew you wanted to do video? Like, that was interesting to you before college even?
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
like,
cool.
I was like making full-blown films on my parents' video camera when I was like 8, like with all my friends, and like making them make these crazy, like full story arc and everything, which is crazy.
Wow.
Yeah, like they were intense. But Yeah, I've always, and then all of college, I had like video internships and was always like the videographer for the clubs that I was a part of. And was just like always drawn to it. But yeah, what was I saying before that? I don't even know.
Oh, and then after college, corporate job.
Oh, yeah. So yeah, I went into a sales job for like 7 months, which very thankful for. Not my bag, but I'm really thankful for it because I use all those sales skills to this day, and just being like rejected 400 times on the phone is
was it like a cold calling type vibe?
Yeah,
I feel like a lot of my friends after college.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think it's like, I feel like everyone should have that experience.
Totally.
Because it just makes you get comfortable with people saying no and it being okay. Like it's not personal, and you can just like still get up and try again.
Yeah.
And like you can get 37 no's and 1 yes, and that 1 yes could change your life.
Totally.
You know? So I'm very thankful
that
for
is
that.
a really good lesson. Yeah.
But then was like, I miss being creative. I need to do something else. Went into a marketing job for so random. I like don't know why I took this job. It's so funny. But
and were you in Colorado this whole time? Like, did you stay? Okay.
I moved to Colorado Springs, took a marketing job for a CNC machining company.
Oh,
I don't know.
Your
don't
passion.
ask me why.
Yeah, are you kidding?
I love CNC machines.
Ever since I was 5 years old, I love CNC machines.
No, everyone's like, "What are you doing?" I was like, "I don't know. I don't know. It sounds fun." But then like just started editing for a different production company like after work because I had no friends in Colorado Springs and was just like, that sounds fun.
Yeah.
And then through that company, the production company owner, I remember like bringing him to coffee and being like, "Do you think I can like do this full time?" He was like, "Yeah, you're fine." And I was like, "Are you sure? Like, do you think I can make 40K? Like, that's all I need to make?" He was like, "Yes, you're fine." I was like, "I don't know." And then it was totally fine. But
was that scary though? That like taking that leap?
For sure.
I mean, I feel like that's something a lot of people go through.
Yeah, I think the initial leap is probably the hardest. And then after that, you just again figure it out.
Yeah.
And it's fine. But
which I think is good to remember too. Like, I think taking that leap, if you do that side hustle with your full-time job for too long, you can't really dedicate enough time to grow. And you kind of need that fire under your ass. As long as you have like something to fall back on, or like a plan, or like, I'm going to give myself this long to try it. And then I'll try to get another job.
Yeah, I totally agree. And I feel like, especially when you're young and you're like out of college, it's like literally, what do you have to lose?
Totally. And like, what are you doing anyway? Yeah, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, exactly. It's just like, I always encourage people just like, if you're coming out of college, that is the best time to take a risk.
Yeah.
Like when you're young. I still take crazy risks at this age, but
same. But we don't have like kids or anything yet. Yeah. So that's why. Like I'm still a kid.
Yeah.
In my head.
100%.
So I act like it.
Yeah.
For as long as I can.
Yeah. 1,000%. Yeah.
And so you started your first company. And that was when?
Yeah. So it was called Black Tree Video at the time. I think that was 2018. Is that right?
Because did you graduate in 2017?
2016 is when I graduated. Yeah. So I started it in 2018.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah. And that was just like me being a one-man band videographer. Because at the time I like knew a lot of video production companies and a lot of wedding videographers, but I didn't know anyone that was like doing business videography for small businesses. And I could just see that it was working for the marketing company I was working for. And I was like, I feel like I could just do this for other people. So I just did that for like a long time. Okay. And then when I did the brand switch, that's when I kind of like became more of a production company vibe.
What's the difference between
so like one-man band videography is just kind of like when you see someone come with like a stabilizer, maybe a light or something, but it's very just like run and gun, just like quick video content with a nicer camera. Whereas like a video production company is going to be more of like a crew and a bigger set and like more of a just high quality production that you'd see on like commercials or TV or more like high-end campaigns with bigger brands, I guess.
Yeah. So do you have a crew that you contract out every time? Because you said you don't have any employees now.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Now it's cool because Denver is very like the film industry in Denver is all of the production companies work that way. So for the most part. So it's like everyone just hires each other on different stuff. So
nice. And everyone can kind of like help each other out and like you get connected that way too, I'm sure.
Yeah, like everyone knows each other and you just it's nice. You get to like hire people based on the project. So it's like, oh, this one is going to be outside. This cinematographer specializes in outside stuff versus like this is going to be an indoor pet commercial. This cinematographer specializes in that.
Interesting. How is that switch? Like, did you feel like more people needed production versus like the one-man band? Is that why you wanted to
Honestly,
to pivot, or?
I think actually it's opposite. It would be smarter for me to just stay a videographer just because like there's more work. I think people, I don't know though. I actually don't know about that anymore. But I think people like do value high end less now, but it's just more sustainable for me. Like I just can't be a videographer forever. It's exhausting. I don't think people realize that. Like your gear is super expensive. It's super heavy. You're like lugging it around and like people like pay barely anything for it anymore. So it's just like a tricky landscape for sure. But
so with production, like when you tell someone like I'm a production company, do companies know what you are? Are you having to like not convince your worth, but show them like I am higher value and like this is why and this is like what makes me different?
Yes. I mean, it's a constant struggle for sure. I think like on Instagram, it's just my name because I am trying to be a director, being like a freelance director. So you hire me for the vision and I will write it and then I will hire the crew and whatnot, or like not even hire the crew. You could just hire me as a director. But I think a lot of times people like still perceive me as a videographer. So like I get a lot of inquiries where people are like, can you come film this event? And I'm like, it's just like not what I do. And then you get like people coming in with like $100K budget for a commercial. And I'm like, that is what I do.
Yeah.
Like, yes, absolutely. So it's just weird. Like a lot of people just don't know what the difference is. And it just takes like some educating and figuring it out.
I was curious about that because when I was stalking you and I found your personal account, I didn't see an account for 140.
Yeah.
So that's intentional because you want to kind of separate yourself from that.
Yeah. So I used to be my business name. Then when I chose to like, I want to be a director more than a production company. I still have my production company and I still do a lot of work through my production company, but I want people in other production companies to be able to hire me as a freelance director as well.
And what made you want to do that? Because I feel like that's yet another shift in like a different direction than
I think just realizing I didn't want to scale the production company, because if you do scale, you then like have to meet a certain number every month to like pay your bills. So you have to take a bunch of jobs that you don't want to take, or you have like a bottom line that you have to hit all the time.
Why is that? Because there are so many people that you're paying?
Or? Yeah, like you just can't expect like freelancers to be available and ready to work on your stuff if you're not giving them consistent like work on stuff.
Okay, so there's like a pressure. Yeah.
And like I spoke to, it's just like that agency model of like even just seeing how my sister's company works, of like just to even like pay her bottom line, I think it's like $40K a month or something. So it's like you're just like feeding this machine, and then it's cool because you're giving people jobs and you're making a lot of money. But like, I don't know. At the end of the day, I was like, I think I would actually rather focus on the craft and like artistry, and then like build my way up as a director in the industry so that people hire me for my vision and my work. And that's really fulfilling for me and sustainable long term. Like I could easily do that for the next 30 years and be super happy with that, versus like just running a machine and trying to feed a machine. You know what I mean?
Well, and being seen for your vision and for your art is just being seen in the most vulnerable way and being validated in the most vulnerable way. It's like, I mean, we were talking about the difference between our 20s and our 30s. Being able to show up as authentically yourself, say in like a social setting, and being accepted, and like going home and just being like, I feel so good. And it's the same way. It's probably even more so with your art. Oh yeah, being hired because they like the angle that you're taking, or they like your vision, or your like baby of an idea. Oh, yeah. I mean, that's got to be the best feeling ever.
Yeah, like directing feels like it's too good to be true. Like it's so insane to me that that's a job, and I get why it is now, because it does take a lot of craft and like it's very vulnerable and personal too. Yeah. Like good directors get hired because they have a unique perspective on something and it's clear in their work. Like so usually like I feel like I'm just like doing a seminar on how like video production works. I'm so sorry if this is boring.
No, it's super interesting.
Okay. So like bigger production work, say the North Face will go to an agency and they'll be like, we want to do a commercial about a woman in the outdoors doing this or something. And then that agency will have a roster of directors and they'll be like, cool, like we think these 3 directors from our roster would tell that story well. This is their style. And you have your portfolio and it needs to be very unique to you. Like if you do everything, then like they're not going to probably hire you for something. So then like you go into a triple bid where like 3 directors are like, okay, this would be my approach on that that concept. And like, this is how
Oh.
I would do that.
So is that when you know that you're being considered, that you get like tapped in for it?
Yeah,
When you're
then you
down
make
the
a-
last 3?
Yeah. And then
Okay.
you make a pitch deck. It takes hours and
Yeah.
you might not get the job at all. And you're just like, this is the way I would tell that story. This is my visual approach. This is like blah, blah, blah. So all that to say, like, it's very personal and you have to really know yourself and like work on your craft. And like, it's so wild to me because I've always cared about making money first. And like, how can I just make money with my camera? What do you guys need me to be? I'll be whatever you need me to be. Whereas like being a director, you're like, who am I? Because I'm getting hired from my perspective and my vision. And like, I don't know who I am. Like, I gotta like
figure
that out if I'm gonna be good. So it's so fun and like I love it more than anything. And I could do it for the rest of my life and be so happy. But it's hard. It's also very hard.
Well, and I mean, even you saying at the beginning, like your sales job, getting used to you or being told no.
Mhm.
I don't know why that was so hard for me to say,
Yeah.
but you know, having that ability to put yourself out there, and obviously this is a lot more vulnerable than like cold calling someone for another company. It still gives you that ability to try because a lot of people, especially artists, because the craft is so close to their heart, they may not even put it out there in the fear of getting rejected or put it out there in their truest form, like truly opening themselves up in a creative way because they're scared of that rejection. Like very, very intimate part of them getting rejected.
Yes. And it does hurt. Like it breaks my heart all the time. Like there's times where I'm just so defeated and like so sad when you lose a pitch and you're just like,
and you're like so passionate. Well, and you're like making this whole pitch too. So you've probably gotten pretty attached to the whole idea of doing it.
Yes. Yeah. If you ever stalk my Instagram and watch the half days pitch that we did, like that was like.
Did that one not get?
No.
What?
Nothing ever came of it.
You're kidding.
No. Isn't that wild? Like that one like almost took me out of my career. Like truly it was so hard.
Crazy.
Isn't that wild? Like we thought we had it in the bag for sure. Like I was like, I mean it went like viral on Instagram and TikTok and like it was
that may have been how I found you. Because I also like meeting Elsa, I think y'all are friends.
Yeah.
And I think there were like a few people that got me following you because you like worked with someone.
Yeah.
But I remember seeing that like a year or two ago.
It's so wild. Like people will be like, oh my God, that was so inspiring. And I'm like, well, it didn't work.
Literally nothing came from it. So
yeah, literally nothing. But I don't know. That's why I always want to be honest about that stuff too. Of just like, it is hard. Like you are betting on yourself all the time and putting yourself out there and you do get rejected. And it's like just part of the game, you know?
Do you ever feel burnout from that? Like
for sure, yeah.
Cyclical, yeah.
Every
I'm
3
sure.
months. Yeah.
Every quarter,
months.
you're like, maybe I'll do something
why
else.
do I do this?
Yeah.
Why can't I just be normal? But then I always come back to it.
Well, and then maybe too, I mean, we were talking about the importance of social media, but do you think that applies with being a director? Because it would be a different kind of portfolio that the companies are looking at. It's not, because sometimes your portfolio is your Instagram or your social media, but would that still be the case for a director?
Yeah, sometimes. I feel like the old school directors like don't have Instagrams or don't post their work on Instagram or anything. I think now it's like the lines are just being like very blurred between even just like companies or brands knowing the difference in what that looks like. So I think it's important to have portfolio work on your Instagram for sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just tough.
No, totally. I mean, aside from the tough parts, like the really beautiful parts, like when you talk about getting creative and loving that so much, what are the parts of it that you love? And what is that art that you're trying to, I guess, like protect from still doing all the commercial work and the things that maybe you're not as passionate about?
That's good. I think it's weirdly, I always thought I wasn't that creative. I always thought I was like mostly business focused and had like a creative flair. And
or like you would mistakenly make something cool and you're like, well, that's not me. That's
I would just like, I was always just comparing myself to my like true artist friends that like are just art first all the time and like don't always care about business the way I did or like strategy the way I did. So I'd be like, oh, like, yeah, you guys are artists. I'm just like a businesswoman with a creative flair. And it was weird because I went on this feature film set one time, which is just like a full-length movie basically, but it was like someone I knew. His name is Jay Worsley, shout out, he's just premiered that film. And I remember being on that set and just being like, this is crazy, like this is just like some guy came up with this idea and we're just like making it, like it felt like it just being a kid again. And like I don't know, like to give yourself permission to just like make up a random story and like literally
it was literally like you as a kid doing this with your parents' camera.
Yeah, and to like see adults do it. And also like no one makes money on feature films, at least in Denver, really. Like you're not doing it for the money like at all. Like you're lucky if you somehow make money, and everyone knows that. So like to be a part of a culture where people are just like making stuff for the sake of making something is just the most beautiful thing.
That's so cool.
Yeah, it's just the most beautiful thing to be a part of. And that was the first time I'd been on a set like that. And I remember like I had more fun and felt more fulfilled on that than like if I was like on vacation in Hawaii or something. Like I just was like beaming the entire time.
The fuck up.
Yeah, and I don't know. So I feel like it's so important to like keep creating for the sake of creating, and I think that's like the only thing that like matters. Like I'm literally like, it's so sad how you lose that as an adult, and like we just don't do that anymore. You know? And it's just like there always has to be a strategy behind it or a way to make money or something behind it. And there's just something so beautiful about seeing a bunch of people come together just to be like, let's just make something, and it's not going to make us money.
Well, and again, like as adults, right? Because like as kids, you know, you'd meet after school and you'd huddle and you'd like play house or do whatever. And you obviously weren't making any money off of that or thinking about that at the time. So it's like, I think everything good in life is tapping into that inner child.
Yeah. 100%.
And tapping into that like play. Because that's something I really try to do, having a more, because I don't consider myself an artist per se, but I do consider myself a creative first. And I've been able to monetize off of that. And like community is a big way that I get creative and like where I find my like flow, I would say. But I've also recently tried to get into like painting and drawing. I bought a bunch of like crayons and colored pencils, and I like go on a hike and bring my backpack, and then I just like bring a joint, get high, and like just like draw. And I wouldn't post anything about it because it's like kind of erasing your brain of like, this doesn't need to look aesthetic. Yeah. I don't need to post this like cool girl thing, like, ooh, look, I'm on a hike and la la la. Like I could just make something and it's so bad, but I enjoyed it so much. Yes. And I'm trying to, because I'm moving back to Denver in a year. Oh, which is like a whole nother thing. But my boyfriend and I are long distance. Okay. And Denver is going to be, I think, our middle point in like December, January time. Okay. And I really want to get into pottery when I move back. Yes. If you want to take it with me, I want to do some like classes just for literally fun. Like I've never done it before, but I love art so much, and I want to get back into piano too.
Oh, I love that.
Because I think it's so important to create, just to create. Yeah. To your point.
Totally.
And then it fuels the other stuff that you do.
Exactly. And it's just sad. Like for some reason, I feel like women specifically just stop doing hobbies. Like
totally.
I think men are better at hobbies than women. Yeah. In adulthood. Like they'll be like, that? I don't know. It's so annoying. I think a lot of it just comes through sports. Like they'll just be like, oh, we're going to go shoot, like pick up we're going to go
basketball, or golf or something.
Yeah. But like, I feel like a lot of girls, like me and Katie both kind of came to this realization a few years ago where we were like, we don't have fucking hobbies. Like, what are we doing? Like, why don't we have hobbies anymore? And it's, for some reason, I think, I don't know, maybe women just are more like caretakers and just like, I don't know. There was a time where I felt like I didn't know myself at all. And it came from not doing hobbies anymore and not just like listening to like, what is interesting me right now? Like, what is like, what sounds fun? And let me just try it. And let me just like, I don't need to be good at it. I don't need to like make money at it. I just like, I need to just honor whatever is like exciting me right now. And so like, just doing a pottery class, like something so simple can be so fulfilling and so just like fun to create again. I don't know.
And I think that's so important for anyone listening too. I mean, your 20s and your 30s are so weird and everyone's in different spots. And it is such a fulfilling thing, and it allows yourself to come back into yourself and find yourself in a weird way. I don't know why. Yes. Because the trying and the failing and being bad at things and just like we were talking about earlier with skiing, like putting that ego to the side, for some reason, you learn so much about yourself. Yes. And I don't know why. Yeah. But it is so pivotal.
It's so true. And it's like, why are we so afraid of like being bad at something? And like, it's like,
it's a weird adult thing.
You know?
I don't know why. It's like a weird pride thing.
It's
for what?
Dumb.
Like, who cares?
Yeah. And even if you were to do something dumb in front of people, you could just be like, oh, I'm learning. And they'd be like, oh, cool.
Oh, nice.
Like, it's not that
everyone
big a deal.
Did learn at one point.
1,000%. Like, I don't know. I'm just so passionate about that for like women specifically, of just being like, just listen to anything that interests you and just try it, even if you have to do it alone, even if you have to like be embarrassingly bad at it in front of people. It's the best way to like know yourself and honor yourself.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, and I think that's the power too with being around other women.
Mm-hmm.
And we were talking about Boot Tan, which is an all-woman event. And my friends and I sometimes will like, you know, if we're skiing, we'll like go through the park and like I literally am so bad. Like we all are like thinking we're going 5 feet in the air, maybe going like 2 inches, and we're like, wow. But whenever I'm skiing with guys and they're like, oh, let's do park laps, I get like nervous because I'm like, they're gonna do something crazy. I'm gonna look like a fucking idiot, or I'm gonna fall because I'm nervous.
Totally.
And I feel judged. And there's something about like being around a bunch of other women. Like
so
I love skiing with other women because like I'm not thinking about like my form or like what if they like see or like I'm nervous on this like double black shoot. Are they going to judge me for it? It's like, no, everyone's just trying and like having fun.
Yes.
And like, why can't we just have fucking fun?
I know. It's so weird how hard it is now to do that. But no, I agree. It's so fun to just like mess around. And those are my best memories in high school of like Katie and I would go skiing and we would just like literally take 45 minutes to get down the mountain because we'd be like in the trees, like crawling out of tree wells and just like screaming
and like running into trees. Like,
you know, and like those are my favorite memories being outside growing up. And like that's, I don't know, I think you like lose sight of it a little bit in adulthood for some reason. I don't know why.
Do you think nature has always been big in your life? Because honestly, from not knowing you, I thought you were in this like nature niche outdoor women's sports with your videography and with your production because you know we only see half of the story on Instagram like we were saying. So I had no idea really. I thought you were a videographer too. Like I was like, I really don't have any fucking clue. But I saw you always in these circles and we have a lot of mutual friends in that space. So do you try to, because I know you really love mountain biking with your hobbies and with your art, do you try to incorporate
I like question that all the time because I grew up on in a log house in the woods on 10 acres. Like
really?
Yeah.
Where in Colorado?
In Monument, Colorado. It's like Black Forest area.
Okay, yeah.
And
hence the name, right? Black Tree?
Yeah.
That makes sense.
But it was like the best childhood ever because I was outside every single day and just like whether I was like building forts or climbing trees or whatever. So being outside is very important to me and very like calming to me, and I want to spend all of my time outside. Like I really enjoy mountain biking. I enjoy like touring and skiing and snowboarding, and I always am like, I want to make this like what I'm pursuing in my career or not. In a dream world, like, yeah, that would be so fun to just like be on outdoor shoots all the time. And when I am on outdoor shoots, I love every second of it because I just get to be outside.
Yeah.
But honestly, like, I think that like the shark side of me is like, I make so much more money doing like the corporate videos. I don't want to be doing corporate videos at all, but like I make literally 4 times more money doing that. So I think there'll always be an element of like just doing commercial work because that maybe isn't like the outdoor work that I would prefer to do because I want to make a living for myself, you know?
So when you talk about like prioritizing the art, are you doing the commercial stuff? And is that the only paid stuff you do? And then the other stuff and like the concepts that you work with are more passion projects?
Yeah, I would say like I usually just don't make a lot of money on some of the outdoor stuff that I do.
Gotcha.
It's either like I'm spending my own money to make it, like Remember How to Play is this short film that I made last year.
Oh, is that the one that you just posted about that got? Yeah,
I got into film festivals.
That's so exciting.
Thank you. I was so happy. But yeah, like I spent money to make that. Like the half days pitch, we were hoping to get paid for that, but like we spent money to make that pitch. Like a lot of the stuff on my Instagram, I either broke even on or spent money on. And I'm okay with that because it's all the work that I'm proud of and like that I feel like is me and really fun. I would love to like make money on that someday, but who fucking knows. But I would say, yeah, like all the stuff I don't post is usually like what is actually paying my bills. In a dream world, I would be like a director of documentaries in the outdoor space somehow.
Cool.
We'll see though.
Yeah, it's okay. We can just have that in like up here.
So, or just like making narratives. I don't know.
What does success look like to you like at this point then? Because you don't really want to scale and you're still doing the jobs that make you a shit ton of money to do the things that you love. Like, is that your idea of success, would you say?
Yeah.
Like, is that where you're at?
Yeah, I weirdly feel like I've probably already hit success and I just don't know it yet. Like, I think in 10 years, I'll look back and be like, I already had everything I wanted and needed. I think like
it's a hard thing to like ground yourself in though.
Yeah. I think the hardest thing is like I wanted the validation of brands paying me to do what I actually want to do. And I don't feel like I've completely made it there yet. Like the amount of concepts that I pitch and that like get turned down is like a lot all the time. And then I'm like, well, fuck you, I'm gonna make it anyway. And I make it anyway and spend my own money. And then they fucking love it. And I'm like, I told you.
Yeah.
But I think like maybe that's a piece that I feel like I'm still chasing, is being like, I want someone to pay me for what I actually want to do, like for my vision and my concept. Like, Remember How to Play, that short film I was just telling you about that got into the film festival. Like, I want someone to come to me asking for that. And I don't really have that yet.
Okay. And what does it mean to be accepted into a film festival?
That was super cool. I didn't know how big of a deal it was. Like, I was just like, yeah, like people.
So did you just submit it? Like, do you do that often? Like submitting things to different?
I know, not until this past year, because I had never really made anything.
That was like
Remember How to
yours.
Play was my first thing that I could ever submit to anything.
Oh, cool.
Which is cool, yeah. And so I didn't really know, and then I like heard about the festival, and their whole theme is like adventure in the outdoors and like joy in the mountains. And I was like, oh, that's like perfect fit. Like, I'll just submit it, see what happens. And then when they were like, yeah, we want to show your film, like that was such a cool validating moment for me, because I was like, oh, like hundreds of strangers will be like watching this on a big screen, and like feels so good, because I again like spent my own money and like made something out of just nothing and just an idea. And then I just didn't like, I felt very aligned with that film festival, but then a bunch of friends were like, this is actually a really big deal, like in the outdoor industry. Like this film festival specifically is like kind of hard to get into. And
I
was like,
God.
It is? Like,
yeah, I agree with that.
So that felt really good.
Oh,
but,
that's amazing. Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you. But yeah, so I think now it's just like, I want to do work like that, but I would also love to actually be paid to do work like that instead of always having to spend my own money. Yeah. You know?
Well, that's interesting though. Like I love how the film community here, like you said, is so supportive, where you can kind of pull each other for different projects, and everyone, it is so magical. Like everyone coming together knowing that it's not paid, but it's just like creating something out of your friend's brain.
Yes. It's really like the coolest part about my entire job is like the community and the friends. And like, I don't know, there's something about, you know, like you betting on yourself, and you know that feeling as an entrepreneur of like taking risks and like betting on yourself, but then to like see your friends doing it too, and like rooting for them and genuinely just uplifting each other, whether or not you get anything out of it at all, has been like probably the coolest thing I've ever experienced. And like, that's where I'm like, oh my God, I already have everything I need. Like, this is like the best
success.
part of life. Like,
right. Yeah, that's beautiful.
Yeah.
I think validation is like the number one thing an artist seeks, whether they know it or not. Do you feel like there's an element of like competition between directors, whether locally or like when you're going for those pitches? Like, do you have to really focus on your own and like kind of keep your blinders up so that you're not thinking or comparing about other people's perspective? Or
yes and no. It's a really good question. I feel like it depends on the person. I think I probably was a little more competitive in the past, and now my friend AJ is a great example. We're both do the exact same thing for the most part, and we're also like great friends, and we're kind of like coming up together, and that's been really fun. It's been the first time I've been like, okay, we are technically competitors, but also like, let's just fucking help each other out and like root for each other. And we've both like, it's cool to see how beneficial that's been for both of us.
Yeah.
And like, then my friend Gabe, same thing. It's like, I think the coolest thing is finding peers and just coming up with them and being like, let's just literally help each other out. And like, there's plenty of work, just having an abundance mindset and being like, there's enough for everyone and we'll figure it out together. And like how much you actually grow 10 times faster when you do that.
You do. And I think the abundance mindset comes with that security, like in yourself and your own worth. Because I feel like too, when I was younger, I was so, if other people succeed, I'm not, or if we're in a similar space, like you're going to copy me or you're going to try to take from me. Like I was so nervous about, I was so protective.
Yes.
Whereas now I'm so open and I'm like, even if we're in the exact same industry, like we still can help each other. And I would rather work together. I'm so about collaborating versus like working against or like not I don't know, like keeping secrets. I just
Totally
can't imagine karmatically that would come out well.
No.
Anyway.
Yes.
Like it's gotta just be better for everyone if everyone just helps each other out.
And just like, I don't know, even if it's people like not in your industry, just having the mindset of like, how can I help you succeed? Like literally, like I don't need to get anything out of it. Genuinely, how can I help you succeed? And it's just so cool to see the communities that are built that way. It'll be like 5 years later and then like it comes around somehow and you're like, oh cool. But I don't know, I think that's really cool. And like going to Bhutan Fest tomorrow and seeing all these like women business owners, I just want to be like, how can I like help you do your thing in your lane? And like I don't know how that would benefit me at all, but I want to just help you succeed because I think we all kind of succeed, you know?
Yeah. Well, and that I think it's a lesson too of like not everything has to be transactional in a monetary sense. I mean, we were talking about podcasting earlier and I've never made a dime really from this podcast, but the things that I've learned from like sitting down and having conversations with people like you or getting to like walk away from this and be like, I have a new friend now that I get to like learn things in life or experience things in life with. Like that's so invaluable, even if it doesn't play into work. Yeah. Especially when you're an entrepreneur, your life is so connected to your work. Like your podcast was about, it is all so cyclical. So like what you're doing and what you're spending your free time doing and who you're hanging out with, the cliche of like you are who you surround yourself with is so fucking true. I mean, it's dumb. Like the way I look up to the people that I have in my life, it's like pinching me. I'm like, I can't believe that we get to be friends. It's like imposter syndrome sometimes.
It's so cool.
But it doesn't have to be transactional. You know, if you're helping out other people and like being there for other brands or other individuals that you really believe in, then you're going to feel really good about that too.
Yeah. It's like the best thing in the world to just see people you care about like succeeding. Like it's even better than seeing yourself succeed, I would say.
Yeah.
But I want to ask you that question too. What does your success look like for you?
You are such a podcaster. If you ask me questions, I'm like, I'm not supposed to be asked questions today.
It's like when I go to therapy and I'm like, but like, what about you? Yeah. She's like, stop. I'm like, I can't not do
I'm like, what about your family?
Yeah. I'm like,
what about your relationship with your mom?
I can't help it.
I think success to me looks like, I think number one for me is community, like abundance in community. And I always want to be a connector. Like I want to be the reason that you become friends with someone that you really click with on a deeper level. And so I found huge gains, like personally, just in like hosting retreats and like meetups for like skiing or uphill or whatever that looks like. And just watching other people bond together is really cool. So I feel like that's a huge pillar and part of success for me. And I mean, I would say too, like monetary, like steadiness, like I've never had a steady paycheck in my life. I'm sure you're the same way. So I would love to get to a place one day, you know, when I want to have kids and have a family where I'm able to have some kind of passive income that I oversee and that I control, but it's kind of just like running because of something that I've built. But I'm still doing something very hands-on. Yeah. Because to your point, I don't think I could ever just like sit back and like just manage and kind of be totally out of it. Yeah. But I would like to have something like that. And then to have this podcast forever, even if it's not world famous, just you know, I'm sure, I don't know if you've ever experienced this. Like if I ever had imposter syndrome or was like, I don't know if I want to keep this podcast, that's when I get a DM from someone of like, I listened to your last episode and like, blah, blah, blah. Like it made me laugh, or I sent it to my friend, or my friend sent me your podcast. Or one time I was like stopped in the gym in Breck of like, I've listened to your podcast and I'm like, that's crazy. Like, cause I mean, we don't have a million listeners. Like that's, it's a very intimate platform. Yeah. So yeah, I would say, and just like always finding ways to continue to be creative and like have it align with my life. Yeah. Because I started with jewelry. Now I do ski clothes. I'm from Alabama. Like that's so fucking random. And I want to just always do things that make sense to me in the moment. And like when I have kids, maybe having like rebellious kids or something, or like when I have a dog, rebellious dogs. I don't know. Yeah. So I hope to always stay like open enough to like receive, like be in receiving mode. Yeah, I love that. That's such a cool way to live life, is like, I don't know, knowing those values and being like, community is really important to me. How can I like literally build my life around creating events for community? And like, I don't know, I just think that's so cool that you are like literally constructing and building your life the way you want it to be, you know? Well, I mean, like, I can say the same about you though. I feel like you're doing the same thing. Thank you. Yeah, it's hard, but it's like, yeah, I agree. It's just so worth it, you know? It is. That's something I learned in therapy too, like the pillars, like the values. We pulled like value cards because I was feeling so chaotic in my head about like my day to day and like what I was doing. And she was like, okay, these are like your 5-6 values now when you're making your to-do list. Does posting on TikTok 3 times a day, does that align with like your core values? And I'm like, funny enough.
You're like, yes.
Yeah. I'm like, funny enough, it actually doesn't. But this podcast that I'm going to quit does. Yeah. I'm going to keep that around and stop posting on TikTok. But that has really helped me too of like, you know, boot tan, for instance. Like all of our time is very valuable and we don't monetize off of everything, but we stay very busy. So I'm like, obviously I want to go to boot camp, but also is that something that aligns with my pillars? It aligns with all of my pillars. Yeah. So like, yeah, I'm going to go and yeah, I'm going to ski naked.
Yeah,
like
that's good.
That aligns with pretty much everything. So I'm constantly trying. I'm not always good about this of like checking back in with myself and like I make like goals every month and like goals every week and goals every year and all of that. I'm like obsessed with making lists. And I'm like, okay, does this align with the 5 things that are important to me? Yes or no? And if it doesn't, then maybe I'll drop that and make room for something that like that does. Because I feel like when you follow that, I mean, similar to you, you make something and people like it and it's coming from this like very intimate place and you're like, oh, okay, well maybe people can sense that, or like something performs well on socials, like you said. Yeah. Like other people grasp that same concept that you wanted to portray.
That's so good. I should make my list of 5 values. Was it hard to like pinpoint those? Okay,
yes,
that's
really hard.
Okay, that's good to hear because
I'm really, like, really hard.
I feel like I know like 2, and then I'm like, what are my other values? Like, how do you know your values?
Oh, it was funny. So it was like a card game situation where like she laid them all out, and we would take one. And she was like, okay, you're gonna have like a no pile, like an absolutely not, an absolutely yes, and then you're gonna have a maybe pile. Okay, and I was like, okay. So I was like the absolutely no's, and I had the maybes, and then I had the yes, and I was supposed to narrow it down to 5, and I was like, there's no fucking way. Well, then she's like, just kidding, those maybes are all out, so you can't even look at those anymore. I was like, wait, what?
Oh, that's brilliant.
Which is so smart because you like, there's so many words that would apply to you, and I was like, fuck, and then I was left with like 15 maybe, and then I went through those. So I mean, if you look up like, I could try to look it up too or ask my therapist, like value cards. Yeah, and it was super cool.
Did any of them surprise you?
I don't think so. A lot of things in therapy surprised me. Yeah. I think maybe the things that like didn't end up in the top 5. Because I think it's love, connection, authenticity, money, and I can't remember I think like creativity. It was something like with art, and I can't remember what the last one is, but I have it like written down in my notes. My notes is like so scary. But yeah, so I'll just like check in with those. But there were so many other things that could have made it into that just didn't didn't make the cut. Yeah. But she was cut throat about it. She's like, okay, sorry.
That makes so much sense.
You can't have those.
Yeah. She's like, it's not a maybe. It's a yes or a no.
Well, and I think the cool thing, and I mean, you've changed so much in your career, so you can probably attest to this, like your why of why you started Black Tree and now 140 and now kind of going towards your personal brand of being a director, that is allowed to change. Like for so long, I thought that whatever my pillars were for my company or for myself, those were like it, and those were cemented in somewhere. Yeah. But you can change your why as you grow and like allow that to shift. Yes. And 100%. I think that's important to remember.
Yeah. That's why I'm actually weirdly not a goals person because I am so aware of how much everything shifts that I'm like, I don't want to feel bad for not accomplishing a goal because of like the way that things shifted. And like on our podcast, we do this thing every year where we like write our goals for the year at the beginning of the year. And then at the end of the year, we like read them and see like which ones we accomplish. And every time I'm like, I barely accomplished any of these, but look at all the stuff I did accomplish. Like, yeah. And I'm like, I'm glad I didn't accomplish that one. Like, so I don't know. I think it's still important to make them because it's good to at least just like start trying. That's the only way you figure out what you care about and what you want to do is by doing it and then being like, oh, that's actually not a value of mine. Like, Yeah. But yeah, it is interesting, like how much that shifts, how much things like change all the time.
And like in days or weeks.
Yeah. I remember like when I started, I was like, people doing video, like corporate videos to pay for their art. And I was like, I'll never do that. Like I will always, I was like, I will only care about like corporate stuff or like just making money. Like I don't need to make films. Yeah. And now I'm like, oh, LOL. Like,
that is so stupid. I don't need to do that.
It's like, I would tell my clients that too. Like, you got me for the lifetime. Like, don't worry.
I'm not going anywhere.
I'm not going to Hollywood like the rest of them. Like, now I'm like,
like those losers. Yeah.
Like, I always thought I was going to be a one-man band. I always thought, like, everything I've always thought has changed.
That is what I do enjoy about goals though, and like journaling in general, is getting to see the things that I valued at the time.
That's true.
Which is so interesting.
Yeah.
Have you ever heard of like archetypes?
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you ever do that like monthly? I do like archetypes instead of like setting goals now, where I'll like decide the kind of person that I want to be or what I want to focus on. And then I'm like, she is like, I talk about her like a person and I'm like, this is how she spends her days.
Oh, that's
this
good.
is how she like interacts with other people and makes other people feel. And that I feel like it's more feminine.
I like that a lot.
Because goal setting can feel very masculine, but I am in my masculine a lot.
Same.
But then I'm around my boyfriend and I'm like, he can't do anything.
Just a girl. Yeah. No, I like that a lot, because then you can kind of have the mindset of like, well, would she do this? Like, probably not.
Yeah. Like it's a nice little baseboard.
That's really good. It's also though, like I don't know how woo-woo you are, but I love, okay, great. I can tell. I knew it. But I feel like the hard thing too about setting goals for me though is like not getting emotionally attached to goals. Like, you know how like detachment theory, it's like make goals, but like don't be attached. And I'm like, how are you guys not getting attached?
You're supposed to live in so like, attached. What's the word? Where you don't really care what happens? Yeah. Neutrality. Yeah. The power of neutrality. Yeah. Yes. And I'm like, I think goals are hard for me because I'm so one-track minded, and maybe I am in my masculine a lot, but like I'm very intense. Like if I have something, I'm like, I'm gonna fucking do this. And like I usually do things really fast too, because I'm like, I don't want to like lose steam, and I don't want to like get caught up in the details. I just want it to be like, oh fuck, we're already going. We have to figure it out. Yeah. But then I get really emotionally attached to my goals, where like when it doesn't work out, I'm just like so bummed. And I just don't, I think that's where I'm like, I can't make goals because I just get bummed. Yeah. I mean, but that's fair though. I don't know. Like, how do you stay detached from yours? Well, I'm so ADD, so I forget a lot. Which is good. Same with like the photo booth idea. I was really attached to that for a while, and then I haven't thought about it until this conversation, and now I'm like maybe calling my brother again. Like, yeah, like texting on the side. Oh, he lives in New York. I was like making him go to some like analog photo booth, like walk to it after work. I was like, can you go in there and just like see what it's about? Check it out. Make sure. He's like, what the fuck? Yeah, I don't really know though. I mean, but I'm constantly struggling with that. And that's why I like the archetype thing, because it like kind of keeps me more in check of what I'm trying to focus on. Yeah. Because I do get so one track minded, and literally my head is so far up my ass half the time. Yeah. And I'm also very intense. Like you can ask my roommates, because I live with 5 girls. Yeah. Everyone has a corporate job except me. And a lot of them are kind of like a move your mouse around. No, like, like one of them I'd say is like move your mouse around kind of job. Yeah. And I can be so intense during a work day. Like they're always like just coming and sitting next to me at my desk, because I have a desk in the hallway. Yeah. Just like talking to me, and I'm like, when I'm like in the zone, I'm like kind of fuck off. Yeah. Like I'm like a little cunty when I probably shouldn't be. No. And so I can get very like pigeonholed too, or even with goals. I actually had this conversation last week when I was podcasting. I had 4 podcasts in a day, and I still had like, because I make to-do lists a lot because I'm so ADD. If I like wake up and I have no to-do list, I'm like, I don't know what's gonna happen today. Yeah. Same. And so I like had a few things on my to-do list, and I just shouldn't have even given those to myself, because I didn't have time, because I was podcasting all day. And then I was so exhausted, and then I felt anxious. And I was like, why do I feel anxious and like weird? Yes. And I'm like, oh, it's because I didn't post stories today. Groundbreaking. That was the reason. And I knew in my head, I'm like, it doesn't matter. But I try to post stories Sunday through Thursday on Raw and Rebellious. And I didn't post, and I was like, okay. And I had to like talk myself down from like being anxious. And it's only because like, if I had just given myself that pass and been like, I'm podcasting all day. This is my job today. Like totally. And today there is not a single thing on my to-do list other than this. And then I'm going to go home tonight, and I'm going to feel totally fine about it, because these are the parameters we set for ourselves. Yes. So dumb. Yeah. So I'm very guilty of that too. Yeah. Like it's constantly like relearning and learning from like people like you, like sitting down and asking like, how do you set boundaries? How do you feel about your art? How do you like, and then I'm like, okay, like I really like this. I'm going to take this into my own life. Yes. Which again is why like community is so important for this exact thing. Cause I think having your own business is the most like refining thing you can ever do other than marriage, probably. Yeah. In my head, like you're always thinking about yourself and like how you can be better and what you're doing wrong and what you could do better. And like, it's like you're just constantly analyzing and fixing and refining. And so to have people to like do that with, I think is so important. And like I could not do it without the people, you know what I mean? To just like and people that are actually entrepreneurs as well. Cause I feel like my corporate job friends are always just like,
you're literally insane. Like,
Totally.
this is all you think about. And
Totally. And they're like watching a movie and I like, and they're like, oh, of course you have your laptop with you. And I'm like, so what?
Yeah.
Fuck off.
For sure. I'm like, I know. I'm just this way. I'm so sorry.
Like, I'm sorry that I'm this way.
Yeah. Dude, I was just on a shoot this past weekend and the girl that like hired me, the marketing girl, she was like, we like finished up the shoot and she was like, oh my God, like this is the biggest project I've done all year. And I was like, what?
You're like,
I was like,
this is like another one after this. What do you mean?
I was like, this is the easiest thing I've done this like week. Like, this is crazy that this is the biggest project you've done all year. Like,
see, but doesn't that like back to the whole like your craft is your craft thing? Like, it should also give you a pat on the back of like, not everyone is capable of doing this thing. Like, this is a very unique skill set that I have. And it's hard to remind yourself of that when you're constantly grinding and working and thinking about the next thing.
Yes.
Of like, wait, that's kind of sick that like this was so fucking easy for me. And like, this girl is about to like pass out over here. Yeah. And like, totally. I'm fine.
Yeah. You know, when you're talking to like someone that's just starting out or like considering starting their own business, when they're like, concerns are like, so like, how do you start an LLC? And you're like,
totally. I'm like,
bitch, that's a Google. That's
like,
a 5-minute Google.
No, whatever. And people DM me all the time and they're like, I want to start my own business. Like any advice? I'm like, about what? Like, about which fucking part? like
buckle up. Just go for it.
If you're asking me that, then you probably shouldn't.
Yeah.
Because you have no like wit for all to like look it up yourself.
Or,
I
like, deter people all the time from starting them. I'm like, don't do it.
I'm like, I don't think this is for you. Because like, I mean, entrepreneurship is so, like I said, glorified. Like,
yes.
And it is so rewarding.
Yes.
The most rewarding thing in the world. And like waking up every day and building and contributing towards something that is yours. Yeah. Even if you're making no money, like I will leave today feeling so whole and so good. Yeah. And like, and my roommates, for example, that spent the day at their corporate job, they won't leave their day feeling so fulfilled. Yes. And even though I made no money and they did, I don't care because like this is what it's about for me.
Yes. You know? I totally agree. That's the coolest thing is like if I literally died next week, I would be like, cool. I literally I tried every day.
I tried.
Like, I did everything I wanted to do. There was nothing I like wish I would have done. Like I did everything I wanted to do and that feels so good. And if I make it to 80, what a cool, I know I'm going to be that like crazy grandma that tells the same story 57 times, but like I'm stoked to be like, and then I pitched this idea. Like,
oh, you don't understand.
You know, like I just like that to me is so much more worth the security of a corporate job. Yeah. You know, but I don't know, catch me in 3 months being like getting a job.
That's what I'm saying. Like sometimes I say shit like on my podcast or like on a solo episode and I'm like, that is not true. Like I'm such a fucking liar. Like I am such a mess right now. I'm like, totally. I loved your advice about blah blah blah. I'm like, I don't even think I took that advice myself. I think like I was just saying, I think I looked that up on ChatGPT. One time we were hanging out in the living room and my roommate grabbed my computer and I'd just done a solo episode and I was trying to like, because I'd been in a really bad funk. Like I'd been in like a horrible place for a while. And then I was okay. I was totally fine. And I was trying to like conceptualize, like, I always try to take my experiences and be like, okay, how can I help other people or like give advice? And I looked up on Reddit. My Google search was how to get out of a funk. And then my next Google search was how to get out of a funk Reddit. And one of my roommates that night grabs my computer, looks something up, and she clicks, and she just sees this, and she was like, "Are you okay?"
You're like, "I'm fine."
Yeah, and she still brings it up, like how to get out of a funk Reddit, because she posted on her story, and she was like, "It was the funniest thing ever."
That's hilarious,
and we still laugh about it. But yeah, sometimes I just be googling shit, and I'm like, just trying to come up with good advice for people. 100%. Who knows?
I'm like so insane. It must be, and I wonder if your boyfriend. Does he do his own thing or does he?
Absolutely not.
Yeah. Okay.
He's a mechanical engineer and he's got such a great job and it's just like not a care in the world.
That's my husband, like sales job, just like so just even keeled guy.
It so nice? That's what I need.
It's so nice, but I'm like, this must be so weird, insane for you.
Totally.
Like 1 week I'm like, yeah, and the next week I'm like, I'm going to Brecken, I'm driving a van and I'm gonna sleep in it and I'm gonna film a pitch video and then we're gonna like, and he's just like, you're insane. And I don't know, I'm just like, this must be crazy.
See, I always thought that I wanted like a boyfriend that was like a videographer or something like cool, like artsy. I am so happy. And like, this guy's my husband. Like I'm obsessed with him. He's the best. And I'm so happy that he is so like steady.
Yes.
Because he
so nice.
still, even though like he hasn't posted on social media in probably like 10 years, like only has a TikTok to follow my TikTok, like is not in that world. He now has such an understanding of it because he's like so supportive of me.
Yeah.
But he can also like bring me back to the normal world of like, hey, like I know you kind of surround yourself with all these people in your same realm, but like let me remind you of like what's actually important and like what you're doing and that like it's all gonna be okay.
Totally.
And I'm so thankful for that like reality check.
I agree. It is so nice to like have someone that's not on the roller coaster
that
I am on all the time.
I need you off like holding my hand. I mean, even with my roommates too, I've always had friends that are so in the corporate world and I love that because like they are so supportive. Everyone in my life is so supportive. Yeah. But they also kind of bring me back to earth a little bit.
Yes. And like, I feel like they make me, my friends that aren't running their own businesses make me realize like it is okay to not accomplish everything you need in life right now. Like I remember this one girl, I hadn't seen her in so long and she was like, yeah, I went to culinary school. And I was like, oh my God, that's so cool. Like, what are you going to do? Are you going to be a chef here? Or are you going to go here? And she's like, I don't know. I was just like, what?
You're like eye twitching. You're like,
what do you mean? Like,
okay.
I'm not going to be able to focus. Yeah. And then I was like, okay, like that's so cool that you don't know. And that you're like not desperately trying to figure it out.
I don't know.
She's like, I'm just like chilling right now. I'm just like food blogging for this girl and it's really fun and we'll see where it goes. And I was just like, wow. Like I need to chill the fuck out.
No, I feel the same. I don't know the last time I was bored.
No. Oh God, no.
One of my roommates yesterday was like waiting for my other roommate to get off work to go for a walk and she's like, hurry, I'm so bored. And my other roommate was like, me too. And I was like in my room like
what do you mean?
I was like frantically packing for boot tan and for my hut turban and all this shit. I'm like, you're bored?
Yeah.
What do you mean?
It's insane.
But then I do it to myself, so it's fine.
It's true. It's a psychotic thing, but it's very fun.
So what's next for you? Do you have anything coming up this year, like project wise or fun travel wise or?
Yes, project wise, Ori and I don't know if you've heard of Ori. Her Instagram is Oski Films, but yeah, she's awesome. We're doing a really cool like spec project right now, and it's
what does that
another situation. Spec is when you don't get paid,
okay.
But it's like for a brand.
Cool. It sounds cool when you say spec.
Yeah, it makes it sound better than it is. It's like the hardest thing I've ever done, I think, and it's really fun to do it with her because we're just like again like just really there for each other through it. So that I'm really excited about. You'll see. It's called La La Land.
Cool.
That'll come out like in the fall. So. Okay. That's project-wise what I'm really stoked about right now. And then travel. My husband and I are going to Japan, which I'm so excited about for Thanksgiving, this coming Thanksgiving. So a while away still. But
is it skiing at that point?
No, I weirdly, like, I would like to ski there, but I think I kind of just want
to like see Japan first. Yeah. So fair.
Yeah. You travel a lot, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm going to Asia actually for 2 months.
Oh my gosh. Is that the retreat or just for you?
The retreat. So I'm doing 2 retreats in Bali, but that's just 2 weeks and I'm staying for 2 months. So I'm going to do some like solo travel. And then my boyfriend has never been out of the country and he's going to Thailand. That's his first trip.
Oh my God. Yeah. That's going to be so fun.
Which will be, I mean, I'm going to be culture shocked, I'm sure. Cause I've grown up, my dad's from Northern Ireland. So we've grown up traveling a bunch, like to see family and like, my parents are just really big travelers and his family travels a lot, but not really out of the country. Okay. And Thailand is just going to be such a funny, like first experience for him. But yeah, I'm stoked. So I leave May 5th. Okay. And I get back June 30th.
Oh, that's going to be so fun.
I'm excited. I love like a good backpacking, like summer vibe. Yeah. It just gets me out of my head, gets me out of my dumbass fucking routine. And I just like see the world and I'm like, oh, nothing matters.
Oh yeah.
What am I worried about? What am I doing? Yeah. And I can't really work much while I'm traveling because I'm like doing so much. Like I remember a couple summers ago, I was backpacking in Europe and I was like, it was like 3 a.m. in my little hostel bunk bed. And I was like, trying to launch a clothing collection for the summer. And so I'm trying this time to really like set everything up. And like I'm working like triple time this month so that I'm still going to be working, but like very minimally so I can just like be there.
Oh, I love that.
I'm so excited.
Is there any openings left in your retreat?
No, but if you want to come meet me over there, I'm doing Singapore, Malaysia, Vietnam, Laos, and Cambodia by myself.
Fun. Wow. I'm so impressed.
If you want to come for any stint.
I totally would.
I'm so serious.
That would be so fun.
Yeah. I'll let you know the dates.
Okay. You'll have to teach me how to solo travel.
I will.
I don't know how to do that yet, but
I can show you the ropes.
I'm so down.
Yeah. It's a lot of fun.
Okay. Hell yeah. That's so cool. I love it.
That's really all I have. Well, not all I have. That'll be quite a bit. Yeah. And then I'll be back in Denver. So then we can.
Yay. I'm so excited.
Hang out all the time.
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah. Let's definitely hang out.
I'm really excited because I used to live in Denver. So it'll be like a cool, like coming back, but in a new way,
Mhm.
and like having new friends. And like, I'm very different than I was when I lived here like 5 years ago.
Yeah.
But I'm really sad to leave the mountains too.
Oh, I bet.
I know.
I'm like trying to move to the mountains.
No,
but
wait, don't.
I know. We probably won't for a long time because
Yeah.
of Matt's job. So.
Well, that's the thing with my
Yeah.
boyfriend's job. Like, I think
Mhm.
if he were able to like start his own thing, we could move to the mountains. But
Yeah.
he has to be in a city for his job.
Yeah.
So that's like our middle ground, basically.
Yeah.
Because he's literally like moving across the country for me, and I'm going to move an hour and a half down the road. And
You're
I'm
like,
still
fine.
like, wait, but I'm sad.
Oh yeah, I don't blame you.
Yeah.
I mean, the
I'm
mountains
skiing
are
every
like.
day and all that. See, but that's what I need. I need friends that are down to like go uphill.
Oh
or,
my
like,
god.
go, and I really want to
Yes.
try mountain biking. I've never tried it.
Yes, I will get
So,
you into it.
do you know
It's so
Kimmy?
fun.
She lives in Brack. She's super into mountain biking.
No.
But she was telling me, because I'm not an adrenaline junkie. Like,
Okay.
I love skiing and I'll like do hard stuff
Mhm.
to challenge myself. And you get like the high after, but I'm not like crazy girl.
Mhm.
And so mountain biking never really appealed to me because I didn't want to just like barrel down. And she was
Yeah.
like, well, you don't have to mountain bike like that.
Yeah, no, not at all.
Yeah.
Like most of the mountain bike rides I do are very chill. Like
And that's what I would like.
it's the same level of like fear you would feel skiing.
Yeah.
Where you're like slightly pushing your boundaries where you're like, ooh,
Yeah.
scary.
But
But
it's
I'm not
fun.
like doing crazy shit by
Okay.
any means. Every now and then I will. But like, yeah, I think there's a huge misconception around it. And when you're starting out, it does feel very scary because
Yeah.
you're like, oh, like I'm not just gonna slide on snow. I'm gonna
Right.
like nail a rock.
Yeah.
So that part is definitely scary, but it's so fun. Like it makes me so happy. I never like it's hard to hike anymore. It's hard to like run or anything because mountain
just want a
biking is
mountain
just
bike?
so fun.
See, and everyone talks about it like that. So I'm like, I feel, because skiing now is like everything to me.
Mhm.
And so I want to find something like that.
Yes.
That's more accessible from Denver.
Yeah.
And like the pottery and stuff is going to be great, but that's not going to scratch that itch that
Yes.
I have.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
yeah,
I'll go
I'm
with you.
thinking about, yeah, please. I would love that.
Yeah, I'll take
that
you
and
on-
rock climbing, I think would be fun to try.
Yeah, that'd be super fun. Yeah, there's some good like trails around Denver that are like super chill and like not too hard and
Yeah.
good exercise, good way to be outside.
Okay,
And
let's do
so
it.
yeah, I'm super down. And then I'll go uphill with you too.
Yay!
That'd be really fun.
So fun.
Yeah,
Well,
there's
tell
fun
everyone
stuff.
where they can find you on Instagram and all the things.
Yes, you can find me at Jill Coates _ my production company's not on there, so don't even look it up. And then
I did try.
yeah. Well, people, it's like a private because I didn't want anyone to take the handle.
Yep.
People are always like, "What is this?" And I'm like, "Just
Oh, I have a Rebellious Ski Club handle that I've never touched,
Yeah.
but I made it right when I had the idea.
Yeah,
because
for
I was
sure.
scared.
yeah." And then I guess my production company is called 140 Films, but you can go to my website if you want to see any work. But yeah, hire me for like
Nice.
outdoor cool stuff, and I'll be
Yeah.
there.
Well, thank you so much for coming
Yeah,
on.
thank you for having me.
This
That
was
was
so fun.
Yeah, that was amazing.
Yeah.
Killed
Okay.
it.
Well,
Yay.
thank you guys so much.
Thanks.
Bye. And that is a wrap on this week's episode. Thank you guys so much for listening. If you're new here, I hope you stick around. We've got tons of episodes over the last almost 3 years that you can listen to. You can follow us at Raw Intentions Podcast on Instagram. Feel free to slide in our DMs anytime you want to chat about something you heard on the podcast or an idea for something or someone you want us to have on in the future. You can find us anywhere you get your podcasts, including on YouTube. You can actually watch us there if that's your preferred medium. And if you love us as much as we love you, I would love if you'd leave a little like, rating, or review. Just because why not? We got to grow. We got to reach more people. That's the name of the game, right? But thank you guys so much. So appreciate you. Have a fabulous weekend, and I will see you next Thursday. See ya.